Mutual Broadcasting System presents The Mysterious Traveler, written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Cogan, and starring tonight two of radio's foremost personalities, Adelaide Klein and Mason Adams, in an original radio drama titled The Visiting Corpse.
This is the Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, that it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can, as we meet the Visiting Corpse. Our story begins late one night in the modest suburban home of Albert Jordan. Albert, a mild-looking man in his early 30s, is tossing restlessly in his sleep. Now and then he moans and speaks as if having a nightmare.
No, leave me alone. I don't want to hear anymore. Leave me alone.
Can't pull the wool over my eyes, Albert Jordan.
No.
I'm onto your way.
No.
Think my only child was foolish enough to elope with you.
No.
Poor Louise. There were so many men eager to marry her, and she had to be tricked into marriage by you.
Oh, leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Darling, wake up.
What is it? What? Oh, Louise.
You're having a nightmare, dear. You don't want to wake Mother up. She needs a good night's sleep for a trip home tomorrow.
Yes, the trip. We mustn't let her miss her train. We mustn't, do you hear?
Albert, whatever in the world is wrong with you?
Nothing. Only I wish you were already tomorrow, and she were gone.
You sure you have everything, Mother?
Yes, Louise, dear. Everything I need for my trip home is in this handbag. Now, don't forget to ship my trunk.
Now, the express man will be here to pick it up this morning, Mother.
Thank you, darling.
It's almost 9 o'clock, Mother. You'll miss your train.
I have never missed a train in my life. You needn't be so anxious to get rid of me, Albert. Oh, Louise, darling, I do hate leaving you alone like this.
Really, Mother? I'll be all right.
Very well, then, if you say so, I'll go. But I'll be writing to you every day. And if he abuses you, just let me know. Goodbye, darling.
Goodbye, Mother, and take care of yourself.
And don't forget, Louise. Mother will come back if you need her.
Yes, Mother. Goodbye.
Louise, if your mother pays us just one more visit, I'll leave this house and I'll never come back.
But, darling, it's only natural that Mother should want to visit me. I'm the only one she has in the world.
Yes, but she doesn't just visit us. She lives with us. In the past year, she spent 8 months with us. She has her clothes here, a key to the house. Well, she's even listed in the phone book under our numbers.
Please, Albert, she's gone now. Let's not quarrel.
Yes, she's gone now, but in 2 or 3 weeks, you can be sure she'll come back to spend a few months with us. I'm warning you, Louise. I won't be responsible for what happens if she keeps coming back. Now, let me see. Send off the trunk. Well, that's one job I can enjoy doing. Mrs. Heather Roden, 125 River Road, Ferndale, Pennsylvania.
Oh, that won't be necessary, Albert.
What?
My trunk can remain here.
Mother, but you want to catch your train.
I've changed my mind about going. I won't leave my little girl alone. I'm sure she needs me. Where is Louise?
She went downtown.
Oh.
So you've come back again.
You've always wanted to get rid of me, haven't you, Albert? To keep me away from my only child. But I refuse to give her up. I've come back and I'm staying for good.
You're what?
Yes, and then I'll be sure that Louise is being well treated. Frankly, I don't trust you.
You don't trust me?
No. Why, I don't even know your background. You were a complete stranger when you forced poor Louise to elope with you a year ago. And for all I know, you may have criminal tendencies.
There's a certain amount of the criminal in all of us. Most people can control their worst instincts. some can't.
Exactly. And I'm here to see to it that no one harms Louise.
But who's going to look out for you, Mother?
Albert, why are you looking at me so queerly? Are you sick?
Yes, Mother, I'm sick. Sick of the sight of you.
No, Albert, you must control yourself. I want you to go to your room at once and lie down.
So you had to keep coming back, Mother, and keep giving me orders.
Albert, stop looking at me that way. What? You seem like another person.
I am, Mother. You wouldn't let what was decent in me live, and now you must take the consequences.
Albert, stay away from me. Don't you dare come near me.
You would keep coming back, Mother, when you came back just once too often.
Albert, don't take me. Albert, don't.
You should have taken that train, Mother. But at least now I know you won't be coming back. You won't come back ever again. You won't. You won't. I didn't want to kill you, but you made me. I've got to get rid of her. They'll catch me. The trunk. Yes, it's large enough. The keys. Here in her handbag. Even in death, you're a problem, Mother, but you won't be for long. There. Now I'll just pack this clothing around you tightly. I got it. Now I'll have to get rid of the trunk.
Albert, are you home?
Louise, the trunk, I've got to get it closed.
That you, Albert?
Yes, dear.
Oh, I see you're locking the trunk.
Yes, I was getting it ready for the expressman.
It should be here now. Albert, is anything wrong?
What do you mean, Louise?
I don't know. Your face is so flushed.
It's, just a little warm in here, that's all.
Look, we forgot to pack Mother's robe. I know she'll want it. I'm afraid you'll have to open the trunk again, Albert.
No. I mean, the trunk is full already. We couldn't get anything else in it.
Nonsense. When Mother and I packed, it was only half full. Please open it.
But it's locked, and your mother has the keys.
Oh, yes, you're right. Well, we'll just have to mail the robe to her. I'll answer the door. It must be the expressman. Make sure the tags are on it, dear.
Tags? I can't go to her home. Only I had time to think. Wait. Yes, that's the only thing to do. I'll make out new tags.
The expressman's backing his truck up the door, Albert. Have you got the tags already?
I'm just finishing them. Yeah. All ready, dear.
Well, let me see if you have the address right. Sometimes you're so forgetful.
Now, Louise, you needn't bother. Of course the tags are made out right now. Stand aside. I'll carry the trunk to the door.
Well, let the expressman do it, Albert. That's what he's being paid for. And I really do want to check the address on the tag.
Now, Louise.
Oh, please, Albert. I'm just playing safe. What? These tags are addressed to Mrs. William Smith, 345 Wood Street, Las Vegas.
They are?
They certainly are. What were you thinking of?
I don't know, Louise. But I'll change them. You just go on and let me tend to it.
Indeed, I will not. You let the expressman in, and I'll tend to the tag. If I left it to you, Mother's trunk would probably go heaven knows where and never be found again. Albert, I'm really worried.
Worried, Louise?
It's a week now, and no word from Mother. She said she'd write every day.
Nah, dear, maybe she's been too busy to write.
Too busy? You know Mother doesn't do anything. No, there's something wrong. I feel
But
it.
you mustn't worry, Louise. I'm sure that she's all right. Oh, I'll answer.
I'll come with you. Maybe it's a special delivery letter from Mother.
Good morning. I got a trunk for you folks.
I've put his trunk.
Why, yes.
You've always wanted to get rid of me, Albert, to keep me away from my only child. But I refuse to give her up. I've come back, Albert, and I'm staying for good.
No.
What'd you say, Albert?
Hey? Nothing.
Lady, the trunk.
Oh, bring it in, won't you, please?
Okay. There you are.
I don't understand. Why should Mother send her trunk back to us?
Would you mind signing for Mr. Jordan?
Yes, all right. Here you are.
Thanks. Bye.
Albert, I can't understand why Mother shipped her trunk back to us, and without even writing a word about it. Well, I'm going to put an end to this guessing.
What are you going to do?
I'm calling Mother. Hello, operator? I want to put through a call to Ferndale, Pennsylvania. The number's 223. Yes, that's right. My number's Riverdale 7745. Thank you.
Why bother phoning, Louise? I'm sure there's a letter on the way.
I've waited long enough for one. Albert, why do you keep staring at the trunk so?
What? Oh, was I?
What's wrong with you, Albert? This past week you've been so jumpy. Oh, hello? Hello, Sarah. This is Louise calling. How are you? Oh, I'm fine, thank you. Is my mother there? What? Are you sure? So that's why you shipped the trunk back? No, thank you, Sarah. Albert, Sarah says that Mother never arrived home. She hasn't been there this past week.
Was Sarah the one who shipped the trunk back?
Yes. She thought Mother decided to stay with us longer and need her clothes. Albert, where can she be?
Oh, Louise, I'm sure that she's all right.
All right. She's been missing a week. How could she be? I'm going to call the police. Oh, Albert, where can she be? 24 hours have gone by and the police still haven't found her.
No, dear, it takes time. You must have patience. They're doing everything they can.
Suppose she's dead.
You mustn't talk like that. Nothing is known yet. Why do you keep staring at the trunk?
I don't know.
Darling, it just upsets you to see the trunk. It keeps reminding you of your mother. I'd better put it in storage.
All right, Albert. Do as you please.
Now you're being sensible, dear. I'll take good care of Mother's trunk.
That very afternoon, Albert took the trunk to the express office. He shipped it away again, this time to a non-existent address in California. He also gave a false return address, so he was quite sure it would never come back to bother him again.
Look, darling, I brought you some flowers. Here's a little present.
Thank you, Albert. Very nice.
Louise, your mother has been missing 5 weeks now. You can't go on this way. You'll have a nervous breakdown.
Albert, where can she be? Why can't the police find her?
Darling, if she hasn't been found in 5 weeks, I'm afraid there's no hope. Louise, you must resign yourself to her loss. Oh, I'll answer it, dear. You just sit here and rest.
All right, Albert.
Yes? Good evening. I've got something here which I believe belongs to you.
Belongs to me?
Yes, a trunk.
Trunk?
Yes. Ever since it came into the depot a couple of days ago, I've been trying to locate the owner, and I've been having quite a time of it. Did a little checking and figured out it might be yours.
You've always wanted to get rid of me, Albert, to keep me away from my only child. But I refuse to give her up. I've come back, Albert.
Do you recognize it?
No. Don't you know where the trunk goes?
Well, no. It's come all the way back from California. Seems there wasn't any such address where this was shipped to.
Surely it had a return address.
Yeah, but the rain kind of washed it off. Until all you can make out now is Riverdale, New York.
What makes you think it belonged here?
Well, I sort of did a little detective work. The initials stamped on the trunk are HLR, and I looked it up in the phone book. And the only person in Riverdale with those initials lives here.
I'm sorry, but you must have the wrong place. Where will you take the trunk now?
Oh, it'll be put with unclaimed luggage. Then in a few months, it'll be sold for charges, unopened.
Sold for charges?
Yeah. And you'd be surprised what you sometimes find in unclaimed trunks. Sort of like a grab bag game. Well, sorry to have troubled you.
Wait a minute. What did you say those initials were?
HLR.
HLR? Why, they're my mother-in-law's initials. How stupid of me, of course.
But, well, you just said it wasn't your trunk.
Well, it isn't. It's hers. Her name is Heather L. Roden.
Yeah, that was the only name in the phone book with those initials. That's why I come here.
Well, it was an extremely clever piece of detective work. I suppose there's a collect charge on the trunk?
Yep. Comes to $31.50 with the trucking. Well, I'll just put the trunk inside for you.
Thank you. Well, we'd have hated to lose the trunk. Here's $35. Keep the change.
Oh, great. Thanks. Good night.
Good night. So you've come back again, as you said you would. Well, you haven't beaten me yet.
Albert, who was it? Why, the trunk. I thought it was in storage.
Well, it was, dear, but they're closing the storage house. They brought it back.
Oh, I see. Looks rather worn now, doesn't it? Albert, how do we know there isn't a letter or something in the trunk that'll give us a clue to Mother's disappearance?
Now, Louise, you know that's ridiculous. There's nothing in that trunk but clothes.
Oh, you're probably right, Albert, but just the same, I'm going to open it.
But you haven't got the key to it.
No, but I have half a dozen old keys on this ring. Possibly, just possibly, one of them might open the trunk.
Well, here, let me have the keys. I'll see if I can open it for you.
Oh, thank you, dear. Here you are.
Just a waste of time, but if it'll make you feel better. This one doesn't work. No, nor does this one.
Why, Albert, you're not even really trying. Here, let me...
I tell you, it's no use.
Well, let me try for myself. Oh, no, this key doesn't even fit.
I told you so. Now, why don't you give up?
This one doesn't either.
You're only wasting your time.
No, this one isn't any good. Perhaps this one will do it. Oh, no. None of these keys will open it. But in the morning, I'm going to get a locksmith to open it. I've got to see what's in that trunk. Perhaps it'll lead to our finding Mother.
So she's going to get a locksmith in the morning, is she? Well, you won't be here when he comes. I'll see to that.
You've always wanted to get rid of me, Albert, to keep me away from my only child. But I refuse to give her up. I've come back, Albert, and I'm staying for good.
You're not, do you hear? You're not. You'll never come back after tonight. Never. Pardon me, miss, but you store trunks here, don't you?
Why, yes, sir. This is the largest storage house in New York. Do you wish to store that trunk you just brought in?
Yes, please.
May I have your name?
Williams. John Williams.
And the address?
313 Maple Street.
Mm-hmm. What city, please?
Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay. Now, the charge for the trunk will be $4 a month. How many months do you want to store it?
How many months? Let me see how much money I have. I've only $8 with me.
Well, that'll pay for 2 months, then. If you want to keep it here longer, you can mail us your check.
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay. Here's your receipt, Mr. Williams.
Thank you. Good night.
And so Albert got rid of the embarrassing trunk at last. So there was only one little hitch. Before he could send any more money, he lost the storage receipt, and he forgot the false name he'd given the storage people. So he couldn't pay for additional storage. But he knew they'd keep it at least a year. He was quite sure that it could never be traced back to him. So after a few months, he stopped worrying.
Good evening, dear. How are you?
I'm all right, Albert.
Fine. Say, I bumped into George Horton and his wife on the way home, and they asked us to come to a charity auction that's being held tonight.
That was very nice of them, Albert.
Why don't we go, dear? Do you a lot of good. You haven't been anywhere for 6 months now.
I know, Albert, and I've been unfair to you, haven't I? You haven't seen anyone in 6 months yourself. All right, if you like, I'll go to the charity auction tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, now what am I bid for this beautiful antique lamp? Do I have $5? Oh, come, ladies and gentlemen. Look closely at this work of art. Now, do I hear $5?
I'll bid $5.
Now, there we have a lady with a real sense of beauty. Now, do I hear $6?
Good evening, George.
Hello, Albert.
I'm glad that Louise and you came. How are you, Louise?
Quite well, thank you. It was nice of you to invite us here, Joe.
Well, we've missed both of you quite a bit these past months.
Well, I hope you'll be seeing more of it. You know, you've got quite a crowd here tonight.
Yes, we hope to raise a good deal of money. You know, that auctioneer is a genius. He can sell the most useless objects and make it seem valuable.
Well, we'll have to get in on the bidding.
Hey, wait till you see the next item he puts up for sale. It's something I donated, and it's going to be quite a surprise.
You are always good at that, Jerry.
Come on, let's move a little closer to the auctioneer.
Do I hear 12? Do I hear 12? All right, I've got $11. Well, you're going to let this remarkable lamp go for as little as $11. All right, it's your last chance, ladies and gentlemen. Going at $11 once. Going twice. Sold to the gentleman in the tweed suit. And very fortunate he is.
That lamp couldn't have cost more than $3 when it was new. Oh, now here comes something for sale that I donated.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. The next item for sale is something so good that I'm tempted to enter in the bidding myself. Ladies and gentlemen, my assistant will remove that cover. And there you have the next bargain. A locked trunk. All right, ladies and gentlemen, study it well. Study it well, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give you a few minutes. Then we'll start the bidding.
The trunk. No. No, it can't be. And yet, it's the same size. It's the same color. The initials. The initials, that'll prove what... No. No, they seem to have been rubbed off.
You've always wanted to get rid of me, Albert, to keep me away from my only child. But I refuse to give her up. I've come back, Albert, and I'm staying for good.
You are back. When I didn't send them any more money, they sold the trunk for charges.
Yes, I've come back, Albert, and I'm staying for good.
All right, here we are. Now, this is no ordinary trunk, ladies and gentlemen. It was donated to this auction by Mr. George Horton, who bought it at a storage house. He never broke the lock to examine the contents, preferring to save that wonderful surprise for the person who purchases this remarkable trunk tonight. All right, who knows what it contains? Perhaps the crown jewels of Russia. Or, better still, 5 quarts of scotch. All right, now who'll start the bidding for this mystery trunk?
I'll bid $20.
$20? Why, madam, the trunk alone is worth $40. Who knows what's in it?
I've come back, Albert, and I'm staying for good.
No.
Albert, you look so pale. Is there anything wrong?
Huh? What? Oh, no. Everything's all right.
Oh, come, ladies and gentlemen. The contents of this trunk may be priceless. Do I hear a bid of $30?
I'm afraid I'm just as curious as everyone else to know what's in that trunk. I'll bid $30.
We have a bid of $30 from Mr. Horton, the German who donated this mystery trunk. All right, do I hear $40?
Albert, that trunk looks something like Mother's, doesn't it?
So you've noticed.
Surely I hear $40. Why, any dealer would pay $40 for the trunk alone. That means you'd have the contents for free. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Do I hear $40?
$40.
Ah, there's a lady with a shrewd eye for a bargain. All right. Who bids $50?
I'll say 50.
But, Albert, we don't need a trunk.
Oh, let him have fun, Louise. After all, it is for charity. Besides, you can never tell what's in the trunk.
I wish I could bid on this myself, ladies and gentlemen. I now have a bid of $50, which I am convinced is only 1/10 the true value of this trunk. All right. Do I hear $60?
$60.
$70.
That's more like it. Now, do I hear $80?
$80.
$100.
Ah, you people are beginning to show a real appreciation for this trunk. Who'll make it 110?
110.
120.
Do I hear 130?
130.
150.
Oh, fun, Albert, but you're going too high.
Leave me alone.
Albert, what's wrong with you?
The gentleman has bid $150. Do I hear any more? Going once at 150. Going twice at 150. Sold to that gentleman for $150.
I never saw anyone go after anything the way you went after that trunk, Albert. Well, I'm afraid nothing will satisfy the crowd now but for you to open up the trunk and Reveal what's in it.
No, I'm sorry, but I don't intend to open until I get home. No.
Come on, Albert. Now don't spoil the fun. It won't hurt to open it.
I told you I wouldn't do it. No, I'm sorry, George, but well, I haven't a key to open it, and there's no sense in breaking the lock after paying $150 for the trunk.
Well, maybe I can help you, Mr. Horton. That's some skeleton keys that'll open any lock. Here, I'll show you. We auctioneers always running into locked trunks.
Oh, we'll certainly appreciate it.
Yeah. I think this key will do it.
Stop! You have no right to touch my trunk. I paid for it, and I don't want it open. Now get away from it. It's mine.
Albert, what's wrong with you?
Well, all right, certainly, if that's the way you feel about it.
Come on, Louise. We're going home.
Albert, you're acting so strangely. Why do you insist on dragging that trunk away now?
Stop talking and come along.
Well, all right, Albert.
Albert, that trunk is pretty heavy. Don't you want me to give you a hand with
I
it?
can manage it alone, thank you. Open that door for me, Louise.
Albert, don't you think you'd better let George help you get the trunk down those stairs?
No, I'm not going to let anyone touch this trunk.
You've always wanted to get rid of me, Albert, to keep me away from my only child. But I refuse to give her up. I've come back, Albert, and I'm staying for good.
Albert, do be careful on those stairs.
I've come back, Albert, and I'm staying for good.
Be quiet, you old hag. Be quiet. You haven't defeated me yet. I'll get rid of you if it's the last thing I...
What happened, Mr. Horton?
He lost his balance on the stairs. The trunk is too heavy for him.
Oh, Albert, speak to me. Albert. George, do something.
I'm sorry, Louise. I'm afraid he's gone. Trunk crushed his skull.
Hey, look, Mr. Horton. The fall broke the trunk open. There was nothing in it but a load of books.
This is the mysterious traveler again. Did you enjoy our trip? Too bad about poor Albert. Then there are always some mother-in-laws you simply can't get away from. They keep coming back like an old refrain. Oh, well, Albert's now a free man. Unless, of course, he's being haunted on the other side. Now, I recall another case in which a young man who woke up to find himself dead decided that... you have to get off here. I'm sorry. But I'm sure we'll meet again. I take this same train every week at the same time. The Mysterious Traveler. Another journey into the realm of the strange and terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, that it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves. Where are we going? You'll find out when we get there. I hope it's not making you nervous, being alone with me in the dark. Darkness stirs strange terrors in some minds. For the things that happen at night are sometimes most upsetting. Things such as cats that vanish or die, as in the tale of The House of Death.
Living out in the country this way, Louise. We're so isolated from everyone.
Yes, Martha. It was much nicer when we lived in our own house in the village.
And even if Roger and Hester are our nephew and niece, we should never have let them persuade us to move out here with them. Oh, doesn't that wind ever stop blowing?
Martha, Roger and Hester are coming. I just saw the car turn into the drive.
I hope they've brought a maid. Well, what's the matter with Toby and Queenie? Oh, mother's little darling's hungry. Even Toby and Queenie don't like living here.
Yes, they do seem unhappy. But Toby hasn't been eating well at all.
Oh, Louise is very foolish out living here with Roger and Hester. I think we should move back to our house in the village where we can really be happy.
Oh, Martha, could we?
I see no reason why we can't. There's so much nonsense about our being invalids and too old to live alone.
Hello, Aunt Martha. Aunt Louise.
Oh, Roger, were you able to get a maid for us?
Oh, I'm sorry about that, Aunt Louise. I tried, but it's just impossible to get a maid these days.
Roger, you know we need someone to push Louise around in her wheelchair. It's too much for me.
Well, I'm sure Hester will do anything you ask.
How are you, Aunt Louise? Aunt Martha? I brought you some good hot tea and some biscuits.
Thank you, dear.
Roger, Louise and I have been talking things over. Now, it is very kind of Hester and you to invite us to live with you, but we were much happier living in the village and would like to go back to our house.
What? But, Aunt Martha, it's much better for you here.
Of course. You're homesick, that's all.
Why, certainly in time you'll come to love this place as we do.
Now, we don't want to hear another word about your leaving us. We couldn't be happy thinking of the two of you living alone in that house in the village. Come along, Roger. Let them drink their tea.
Yes, Hester. Well, see you both later.
They're really so good to us, Martha. But I do wish they'd let us return to our own house.
Tea tastes strange. You tried it yet, Louise?
No? Why, yes, you're right. It does taste funny.
Probably the water they use. Nothing out here seems as good as it was home. You better not drink any more of it.
Oh, do you remember the little teas we used to give when we lived in the village? Mary Thompson came over every afternoon. It was so nice.
There's no reason why we can't move back to our house and have those teas again.
But you heard what Roger and Hester said. Our health isn't so good, and we need someone to look after us.
Well, what of it? With all that money Father left us, we can afford a dozen servants. Yes, Louise, I think we'd better plan to return home. The mail car inside, Louise?
Martha, not yet.
You know, I've been thinking quite a bit these past 24 hours about returning home, and I think we'll leave here in a few days.
Oh, Martha, that would be wonderful. Oh, look, here comes George Gibson now with a mail.
And that time, too.
Yes.
How would fat Toby and beautiful Queenie like to go back to their own little home?
Oh, Martha, they understand perfectly what you're saying. Look how happy they are.
Good they do.
Hello, Aunt Martha. Aunt Louise. George Gibson just delivered the Sentinel.
Oh,
Here you are.
Thank you, Roger. We've been waiting all day for it.
Oh, that's all right, Aunt Louise. Hester will soon bring you your supper.
Now, let's see.
Oh, Martha, let's look at the obituary notices first.
That's just what I was turning to, Louise. Here we are.
Did anybody we know die?
Now, let me see. Oh, yes. You remember Amos Wilson, don't you?
Yes.
He died 2 days ago.
Poor Amos. He was about your age, wasn't he, Martha?
Certainly not. He was a good deal older.
Martha, look at this. Why, it says Mary Thompson is entering the home for the infirm.
The poorhouse? Oh, no, it can't be.
Oh, the dreadful place. I'd sooner be dead than in that home.
Poor Mary. Oh, I shudder every time I think of that horrible place. The poorhouse.
Martha, after we move back to the village, can't we have Mary come to live with us?
Yes, of course. Going to the poorhouse would be the death of her.
Oh.
Huh? Louise, what are you staring at in this paper?
No, it can't be.
What can't be?
Read what it says in the real estate column. The old Abbott mansion, owned by the Mrs. Martha and Louise Abbott, has been put up for sale by their nephew, Roger Abbott.
What? Why, you must be a mistake. We never told Roger to sell our house. I wouldn't dream of it.
Oh, Martha, it's been in the family for almost a century. How could Roger do such a thing?
I'll soon find out. Roger! Roger!
Now, Martha, you mustn't get excited.
But why should he want to sell our house?
Are you calling me up, Martha?
Yes, Roger. What's this in the Sentinel about a house being for sale?
Oh, is it in the Sentinel? Oh, I'm sorry.
It is a mistake, isn't it, Roger?
No, Aunt Louise.
Oh.
You see, as co-trustee of Grandfather's estate, I thought it would be a good idea to sell the house. Prices are high these days, and the house is rather old.
But you have no right to put the house up for sale without telling me. I won't hear of the house being sold.
You mustn't get excited, Aunt Martha. If you don't want the house sold, I'll remove it from the market.
Oh, please do. We couldn't live in the house if it was sold, couldn't
All
we?
right. I'll take care of everything. Everything's going to be all right now.
I don't like it, Louise. I don't like it at all. Why did he try to sell it without telling us?
It does seem strange.
Louise, we must get in touch with Judge Smith.
Yes.
He's the administrator of Father's estate, and he'll take care of everything for us in the way we want it. It isn't that I don't trust Roger, but you must recall the scrapes he was in when he attended college. His conduct after that. And then there was the matter of that bad check Roger gave. If it hadn't been for his dear father, he would...
Someone's coming, Martha.
I have your suppers for you. Now, please eat them before they get cold.
Yes, Esther.
There you are. Just call me if there's anything else you want.
Yes, does Mother's beautiful Queenie want something to eat?
I don't see Toby any place around.
Well, he's probably in the kitchen. Now, say pretty please, Queenie, and Mother give you this nice piece of meat. That's Mother's darling. Here you are. Oh, isn't she lovely, Louise?
Oh, yes. Queenie has such wonderful manners. We'd better eat our soup before it gets cold, Martha.
Yes, and as I was saying, Louise, I don't care for Roger's attitude at all. If you ask me, he's been behaving very strangely.
Yes, Martha. Martha.
Hmm?
Martha, that piece of meat you gave Queenie doesn't seem to have agreed with her. She looks ill.
Oh, yes, you're right. Oh, Queenie, what's the matter with Mother's little
Martha,
darling?
she's in agony.
What can we do?
Roger, come quickly.
Oh, poor Queenie. Roger. She's suffering so.
Martha.
Oh, Roger, do something. We must help poor Queenie.
Oh, Roger, look.
I'm afraid it's too late, Aunt Martha. She's dead.
Dead? But it can't be. She was all right just a few minutes ago.
Things like this will happen, Aunt Martha. She was old. She probably had cramps. Roger, you better take Queenie out of here.
All right, dear.
Poor Queenie. We've had her ever since she was a little kitten. 12 years now.
There, Aunt Louise, you mustn't cry. You still have Toby. Now, why don't you eat your supper? You'll feel much better if you do.
Esther, how can you speak of food at a time like this with poor Queenie's body not even cold?
I'm sorry, Aunt Martha. If you want me, just call.
Oh, Martha, it won't be the same without Queenie. I simply can't understand it. 1 minute Queenie was perfectly well. Then after you gave her the meat, she became ill.
Yes, she was perfectly well until she ate the meat. Louise, the meat, that's it.
Don't understand, Martha.
The meat, it was poisoned.
Poisoned?
Louise, that poisoned meat was meant for us.
Martha, you don't mean that Roger and Hester... Oh, no.
Yes,
no.
Louise, they're after our money.
Oh, what are we going to do? We can't get at the phone.
Got to get in touch with Judge Smith. Our lives depend upon it.
The two old ladies stared at each other, terror in their eyes. The minutes dragged into hours, and each hour was a nightmare as they waited for the time to come when they could make the one contact between themselves and the outside world.
Do you see George Gibson's car yet, Martha?
No, Louise, but he should be in sight any minute now.
Oh, what if Hester or Roger come home before he gets here? Then we won't be able to talk to him about our message to Judge Smith.
Now, Louise, you know Roger isn't due home from work for another hour.
Yes, but what about Hester? She's over at the miller's farm, and she's liable to return any minute.
Louise, I see George Gibson's car. He's just turning into
Hurry,
drive.
hurry, Martha, hurry.
All right, hurry. I raised the window.
Martha, call to him quick before he gets away.
George Gibson.
Hello?
look over this way, George. It's Martha Abbott. I want to see you.
Oh, it's you, Martha. Well, howdy, I'm coming.
He's coming, Louise. Do you hear? Now we'll be able to get in touch with Judge Smith.
But after George Gibson left the Abbott sisters, he met Hester a half-mile up the road. The two conversed for a minute. Then George Gibson continued on his way. Hester stared after him as he drove away, her face tense and white. Then, as if suddenly understanding the implication of his words, she turned and ran towards her home, her heart pounding with fear.
Roger, I just met George Gibson, and he told me that when he delivered the mail here, Aunt Martha and Aunt Louise called him into the house.
Call him into the house.
Yes. They asked him to get Judge Smith for him at once.
I told you it wasn't safe to leave them alone, even with the phone locked in our room. All our plans may have been for nothing.
Oh, Roger, do you think they suspect?
I don't know. I do know it was a mistake letting them talk to George Gibson. After all our careful work, we can't let everything be spoiled now.
Oh, Martha, these past 24 hours have been endless. Where can George be?
He's probably delayed somewhere.
Oh, Martha, there. George is coming. He just turned into the drive.
I told you he wouldn't fail us.
Oh, but Roger and Hester are in the house now. What if they don't let George see it?
Nonsense. When George has a message to deliver, he delivers it. Roger's just gone out to get the mail, but... Louise.
What is it, Martha? What's wrong?
That isn't George Gibson driving the mail car.
What?
The man driving it's only a youngster. Now he's leaving.
Martha, what does it mean?
I don't know. I don't understand.
Perhaps George is ill and he couldn't come today.
Hello, Aunt Martha, Louise. This magazine just came in the mail. Thought you might like to see it.
Thank you, Roger.
Why didn't George Gibson deliver the mail?
Oh, so you noticed there was a new driver today.
Yes.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but poor George Gibson was killed last night.
Killed?
Oh, no.
He had an accident as he was returning to the village.
An accident?
Yes. I don't want to speak any more about it. It'll just upset you. Hester will bring you your supper soon.
Oh, poor George.
That means Judge Smith never got our message.
Oh, Martha.
Louise, don't you see? It wasn't an accident.
But Roger said it was.
George was deliberately killed to keep him from going to Judge Smith.
Martha, you don't mean that Roger and
Yes,
Hester...
Louise. They won't stop at anything to get our money.
Oh, Martha, I'm so frightened.
Oh, we must have courage or we're lost.
Oh, but if we can't get word to the outside and they're poisoning our food... Well, we haven't eaten a thing since poor Queenie died. We can't go on throwing food away or we'll starve.
There's only one thing to do, Louise, if we're not to starve. Toby must sample our food before we eat it.
You mean to see if it's poisoned?
Yes. Oh, I know it's dreadful risking poor Toby's life like that, but it's the only thing to do. And meanwhile, we must get in touch with Judge Smith. We must. You are, Toby, a nice piece of meat for Mother, little darling.
Aunt Martha? Why are you feeding Toby?
He gets plenty to eat in the kitchen.
Of course.
I've always fed Toby from my own plate. He expects it.
But, Aunt Martha, if you feed that meat to the cat, there won't be enough for you.
Yes. If you're to get well, you need all that food. Now, I don't want you feeding Toby any more of it.
Here, Toby. Come along, boy. Come on out to the kitchen while Aunt Martha and Louise eat their supper.
How are you, Aunt Martha? Louise? I've brought you your lunch. Doesn't it look good?
Yes, Hester, it's very nice.
Lunch, eh?
Here, Toby. Here, kitty.
Hester, have you seen Toby?
No, Aunt Martha, I haven't.
Oh, but where could he be? Toby's always on time for meals.
He's probably someplace around the house. Now, eat your lunch before it gets cold.
Oh, Martha, where can he be?
Toby will be along in a few minutes. And we won't touch a bit of this food until he's tried it first.
Oh, I do wish he were here. I'm so hungry.
Louise, Don't touch a thing on that tray. It isn't safe.
Oh, here, Toby. Here, kitty, 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 kitty.
Good evening, Aunt Martha. Louise, how are you?
Good evening, Roger.
I have your supper here for you two. What? Aunt Martha, neither of you ate your lunch. What's wrong?
We weren't hungry, Hester.
Have you found Toby yet?
No. I've looked everywhere for him, but he seems to have disappeared.
Oh, no.
Now, you mustn't worry. I'm sure he'll turn up.
Yes. Aunt Martha, you and Louise can't afford to miss meals in your state of health.
Why, certainly not. Now, we want you to eat everything that Hester has brought you.
Yes, you'll make us very unhappy if you don't. Now eat it while it's hot. Come along, Roger. I'll get you your supper.
All right, dear.
Did you hear what she said about Toby, Louise?
Yes, he's vanished.
Nonsense. They've killed him. You saw how angry they were last night when we fed Toby from our plates. They've killed him, so he won't spoil their plans.
Martha, what are we going to do? I'm so hungry.
Got to get word to Judge Smith before it's too late.
But how?
Tomorrow, I'm going to go out to the road and try to get to the village.
But, Martha, it's 2 miles to the village, and you know you can't walk more than a few yards. You're not strong enough.
Louise, with either starvation or poisoning staring us in the face, we haven't any choice. I must try to reach the village.
The next morning, after Roger had left for the village and Hester had gone to the Miller farm, Martha dressed as quickly as her shaking hands would permit. Louise watched nervously as her sister quietly opened the door and started on her long, painful way to the village.
Hello, Aunt Louise. Oh, why, where's Aunt Martha?
Aunt Martha? She's someplace around the house.
But I've just been through the house. Why, her closet is open, and her hat and coat are missing. Aunt Louise, did Martha leave this house?
Why, yes, she said she wanted to go for a walk.
Go for a walk? At her age and in weather like this? Why, it'll be the death of her. Did she start out toward the village? Answer me.
Yes, Hester.
I'll phone Roger at his office. She must be stopped.
20 minutes later, as Roger drove along the road leading to his home, he saw a small figure in the distance. It was Aunt Martha. There was a weary, painful look on her face as she hobbled towards the village. In spite of her determined resistance, he put her in his car and drove rapidly on home. One thought was uppermost in his mind. He must make sure that this could never be repeated.
Oh, Martha, I'm so hungry.
Yes, Louise, I know. So am I.
We've gone 3 days now without eating. We left them our money and our wills. Why must they kill us?
They're nothing but common murderers.
Oh, if there was only some way to get word to the village.
Louise, I've got an idea.
What is it, Martha?
If we were to set fire to the house, they'd see it in the village.
Yes. And then the fire company would come out.
Then we'd be able to tell them we'd be saved.
Oh, but Martha, Hester and Roger would put out the fire before it could get big enough.
Louise, I know a way we can prevent them from putting out the fire.
You do?
Yes, and we can save ourselves, Louise. We can save ourselves. Here, Toby. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty.
Aunt Martha! Why are you looking down the cellar? You should be in your room.
Yes, it's drafty out here in the hall. Now, come on, close the cellar door and go back to your room.
But I heard Toby crying. He's down in the cellar, and I won't go to my room until I get
But
him.
Aunt Martha,
Roger, just to put Aunt Martha's mind at ease, why don't you go down to the cellar and see if Toby is there?
Oh, all right. If you ask me, it's just a waste of time.
Oh, please help him look for Toby, Hester. You'll find him so much quicker if you both look for him.
Oh, very well. But you go back to your room so you won't catch cold. Roger, do you see him?
He doesn't seem to be any place here in the cellar.
Now we'll see just how smart you are, trying to poison us. There, you won't stop us from escaping now. Oh, I must get Louise. Louise! Louise!
Yes, Mom?
Oh, Louise, it worked.
Martha, you mean you were able to lock them in the cellar?
Yes, I've left the door locked. They can't get out.
Oh.
And Martha, unlock this door.
Let us go! Oh, they found out they're locked in.
Don't you worry about it, Louise. I'll take care of everything.
Oh, Martha.
And Martha.
Martha, what are you doing with that kerosene lamp?
I'm pouring the kerosene around the room so that it'll burn better.
Oh.
Are you ready to leave, Louise?
Yes, Martha.
Then I'll strike the match and start the fire.
Oh, how quickly it's starting to spread.
Yes, we'd better leave. I'll push your wheelchair, Louise, and you try to help by rolling the wheels.
Yes, Louise.
There. Yes, they're coming along nicely.
Oh, Martha, I hate to do this.
Louise, you mustn't waste any pity on them. Even if they are our niece and nephew, they're nothing but common murderers.
Yes, I suppose you're right.
Now I'll just open the front door and we'll be free. Now, roll the wheels a bit, Louise.
Yes, I am.
Just a few feet more and we'll be safe. There. Far enough away from the house to be perfectly safe.
Oh, my. The whole house is on fire now.
Yes, lovely fire, isn't it? I don't feel cold at all.
Oh, do you think they can see it in the village by now, Martha?
I'm sure they do. Now remember, Louise, when the fire company gets here, we don't know what happened to Roger and Hester. We just managed to get out ourselves.
Yes, Martha.
If we told them what we were forced to do to escape, we'd have to reveal that our own niece and nephew were poisoners, murderers. We don't want to disgrace the family name, Louise.
Oh, no, Martha. Of course not. Oh, look, Martha, look. The roof is beginning to go.
A few minutes later, the fire company arrived to find Martha and Louise in the garden, staring at the roaring fire which had been their home. It was too late to save the other occupants of the house, so the men were forced to stand by helplessly and watch it burn.
Good morning, Judge Smith.
Good morning, Miss Martha, Miss Louise. I trust you're well after that terrible ordeal last night.
We're much better, thank you, Judge.
Well, now that your niece and nephew are gone, we must plan for your future.
Oh, you don't have to bother, Judge. All we want to do is move back to our old house, hire a few servants, and live as we used to. Oh, and I was wondering if you could arrange to have Mary Thompson come live with us. I won't hear of her going to that dreadful home for the infirm.
Oh, no, it would be the death of her.
Ladies, I'd hoped I'd never have to reveal the truth to you, but now it appears I must.
I don't understand, Judge.
Last month, the bonds in the trust fund your father left you became utterly worthless.
What?
Your nephew and niece were afraid the shock of learning you were penniless would kill you. So it was decided to keep the news from you. That's why the three of us persuaded you to move in with them. Your house here in the village had to be sold to meet debts of the estate.
That can't be. Father left us so much.
It's all worthless now. Perhaps I should have told you this a month ago. But your niece and nephew wouldn't hear of it. In spite of the fact that they had only Roger's salary to live on, they were determined to prevent you from ever learning of your misfortune.
But the deaths of poor Queenie and Toby, of George Gibson.
George Gibson?
Yes.
I'm afraid I don't understand. Surely you heard he was killed a few days ago when a tire on his car blew out and it overturned.
You mean he wasn't murdered?
Certainly not. Are you feeling well? Has my news been too much for you?
No.
Well, now that your niece and nephew are gone and there's no one to support you, I'm afraid there's only one thing left.
One thing left? What's that?
I'm sorry to say, the home for the infirm, the poorhouse. This is the mysterious traveler again. Have you enjoyed our little trip? too bad about the Abbott sisters. Such nice old ladies. But then, how were they to know that poor Queenie died of cramps, not poison? After all, you can't be too careful, can you? Would you care for a sandwich? They're very delicious. I make them myself. Oh, you're getting off at the next stop. I'm sorry. Perhaps you'll join me again soon. I take this same train every week.
You've just heard Chapter 9 of The Mysterious Traveler, a series of dramas of the strange and unusual brought to you each week by station WOR. In tonight's program, The House of Death, Irene Hubbard played Martha Abbott and Elizabeth Morgan played Louise Abbott. The Mysterious Traveler, written by Robert Arthur and David Cogan, is directed by Jock McGregor. Original music was played by Doc Whipple. Listen next week to a tale titled
The Man Who Knew Too Much.
Another Tale of the Mysterious Traveler. The Mysterious Traveler is presented by WOR Mutual every Sunday at 7 over most of these stations. This is Mutual.